Christ, Son of the living God. I love your name. I'll live your life. I love your name. I'll live your life. You are the Christ. You are the Christ, Son of the living God. I love your name. I'll live your life. I love your name. I'll live your life. I can hear your call. I can hear your call to be a disciple. I'll follow you. I'll carry my cross. I'll follow you. I'll carry my cross. Oh, here I come. Oh, here I come to worship your glory. Accept me, Lord. Accept me, Lord. Accept me, Lord. Accept me, God. I wanna be humble. I wanna be humble. Bow to your name, Lord. For you are Lord. For you are God. For you are Lord. For you are God. You are the Christ. You are the Christ, Son of the living God. I love your name. I'll live your life. I love your name. I'll live your life. You are the Christ. You are the Christ, Son of the living God. I love your name. I'll live your life. I love your name. I'll live your life. Jesus in today's gospel makes his second prediction of his passion and death. We are going to see Jesus. He predicted that he was going to suffer. He was going to be rejected. He was going to be humiliated. He was going to be killed, but he will rise up again. He did that 3 times. Last Sunday we saw the first. This Sunday we are seeing the second. Jesus predicts that he will suffer. He will be rejected. He will be humiliated, and he will be killed. Following the prediction of his passion, Jesus asked his followers therefore to take their crosses. Now, as he travels to Jerusalem to face the suffering and violent death, he makes yet another pronouncement on the tragic circumstances that will befall him. And he is anxious that his disciples understand the meaning of what lies ahead. It is not enough that he is going to suffer, he is going to be rejected, he is going to be humiliated and killed. He wanted his disciples to understand the import, the meaning, because therein lies the purpose of his coming into the world. The purpose of the incarnation is to establish salvation through the cross. And so he wanted to make sure that the disciples fully understand. Last Sunday we heard how, after telling the disciples, Peter began to remonstrate with him, carried him aside and said, no, it's not going to happen to you. No, something must be wrong with you. And what did he tell Peter? Get behind me, Satan. And he began to teach them. Now, he continues to teach them. Mark reports that after all the teaching, the disciples did not understand a thing of what he was saying. Their mind was somewhere else. Their mind was full of ambition, right? Somewhere else. Jesus contradicts their understanding of his identity. Up to this point, the disciples understood him to be what? A miracle worker. The one that multiplies 5 loaves and 2 fishes to feed 5,000 people. The one that wakes up Lazarus from the dead. They were very happy. They were filled with euphoria, being in the presence of this guy who they believed was going to take over from the Romans, was going to free the Israelites from Roman occupation. And when he does that in the new kingdom, they were already planning the positions they will take. Against the false ideas making the rounds about Jesus' identity and mission, we are presented once again with the ideal of what? The suffering servant. The suffering servant. You saw that in the first reading. And how the suffering servant is often persecuted, rejected. The suffering servant whose life is characterized by humility and service. And that is exemplified where? In the cross. Now, the apostles, as we said, did not understand a thing of what Jesus said. They didn't understand this future powerlessness that Jesus speaks about, which Jesus mapped out for himself. But they also knew that if they accept Jesus' powerlessness, they themselves will become powerless. And that's part of the reason why they rejected it. They were afraid to ask him. They didn't understand, but they were afraid to ask him because they did not want their worst fears to be. You know, there are people who don't go for medical tests. They don't go for medical examination. Why? Because they are afraid of their worst fears being confirmed. Somebody is feeling one kind. If they feel one kind, if fear saying get one serious sickness, but go for test, Grigo. Why? He is afraid that they will go and pronounce what he has been afraid of all the while. So the disciples did not want to ask Jesus because they were afraid that Jesus Christ may mean exactly what he is saying, and then their worst fears will be confirmed. So they decided to keep quiet. Instead, they began to have their own discussion, totally different from what Jesus was saying. And what were they discussing? What were they discussing? Who is the greatest? They were discussing who is the most important person. Who is a call for Jesus' attention. Jesus now said, "Waiting on they discuss. What are you people arguing about?" And they kept quiet. Why did they keep quiet? They were ashamed. They were ashamed of what they were discussing, because they know that it contradicts what Jesus' orientation. So they kept quiet. They showed how little they understood, they had learned from Jesus, and how little they understood Jesus' mission. Finally, I have a poem that I call Gentle Revolutionaries. And I have my icons, my mentors, my heroes there. They include Francis of Assisi, Damien the Leper, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., Oscar Romero, Helder Camara, Mother Teresa, John Paul II. These are gentle revolutionaries, radical disciples, champions of non-violent resistance, bearers of the civilization of love, and heralds of God's kingdom of peace. They are the best hearts. They are the brightest stars. They are the finest flowers that humanity has birthed. They are the models of a new world of harmony. They are the exemplars of a future world of solidarity. And they are the prototypes of the promised world of tranquility. Their tribes shall overthrow and consign to the trash can of history the Herods and the Neros, the Napoleons and the Hitlers, and the Idi Amins and the Mobutus, and you can add your own names. Their legacy shall survive forever and dislodge permanently the thorns and the thistles, the prickles and the brambles of degenerate humanity.